Hello, everybody, and welcome in. It's Saturday night, ladies and gentlemen, and that means Flat Out Racing North America is back, and we're back with our amateur division for round two at Alsace Village, or Alsace, depends how you pronounce it. I'm just guessing. But welcome in, everybody. I do apologize about the momentary live notification there just a few minutes ago. I hit the wrong button setting the stream up. Streamer problems. Anyways, moving forward. So, last week we saw an absolutely amazing race at Watkins Glen for round one for our season 2 opener here at Flat Out Racing North America, and these amateur guys absolutely showcase some incredible skill on the racetrack. So we're here at a much more difficult technical racetrack. It's a little less high speed, but it is extremely technical, and it's going to be interesting to see how these drivers handle these Mercedes GT3 cars around this racetrack today. So let's go over that drivers list, shall we? We have S. Clarkson, we have Koke, we have Mr. Smurf, Venice Speed, we have Bear Chaos, we have Perea, we have Haley, we have I can't read that, Bajargle, I believe that says, Dazzy, we got Dinsey, we got Chip Reese, who is in this week. He missed last week. We have Merch, we have Apex Heathen, who did win last week. We have OBR Andre and K Ricard, and we do have PD Snow here in as a substitute driver as well. And speaking of, coming in with that like and that share over on Facebook. Much love, my dude. Good luck tonight to you. So, I mean, what did we say? Where do we start with Flat Out Racing North America? This broadcast is brought to you by Flat Out Racing North America. Sponsors are GTR Simulators and Apex Racing Team, ladies and gentlemen. Both these sponsors are coming in with huge prize pool for the divisions this season to race for, and that is always going to put a little bit of fire underneath the drivers, which always provides for a little bit more high intense action. And of course, I'm your host for the evening, GT45 Gaming. And a huge shout out to High Pre Graphics for the designs on the stream here. And of course to our media guru over here at Flat Out Racing North America, SPD on screen, and Yoni in the Discord, coming up with these beautiful drivers lists for us. And of course the Alsace Village you see in front of the graphic behind it. Little sneaky trick here. We're playing as broadcasters. So, much like last week, we're going to see these guys on 2 times tire and 3 times fuel consumption. So every time they go around Alsace, they will use 2 laps worth of tires and 3 laps worth of fuel. What kind of factors are going to play here today? Well, let's talk about the strategies. We have just 5 minutes before qualifying starts here, and it looks like the grid's starting to fill up. We do have, I believe, 13 drivers or 14 drivers expected to be here tonight. So we're missing a couple here as I'm looking at the screen in front of me, which you guys can't see yet, but hey, we'll give you that screen very soon, ladies and gentlemen. We don't really have anybody out on track running right now either. So with that being said, again, a little bit about strategies here. Much like last week, use a potential 1-stop and a 2-stop strategy here. However, unlike last week, based off of testing this week for myself, of course, what is up, Tattooed Freak Apex Sim Racing in the house, one of the sponsors over on the YouTube channel, showing their support there, ladies and gentlemen. And we got something, if you're paying attention to the live scene here tonight, above the banner on the right hand side of the screen, you're going to be able to see some available merch for sale from Apex Racing as well. They've combined with the league here, and they've developed some specific league merch for sale for a very limited time as well. And Tattoo can drop that link in the YouTube channel for me. I'll pin it, and that'd be fantastic, actually. So anyways, moving forward, lots of fun stuff here tonight. Again, 2-stop strategy here, ladies and gentlemen. So you're going to see the drivers take a elongated medium tire stint at some point in the race. Most of them will probably start on it, and then you'll see 2 shorter soft tire stints. And what the drivers can do is take a little less fuel in the race cars and push those softs a little bit harder, and they should last longer, and you should be able to, in theory, get better lap times. 1-stop's going to be a little bit more difficult here in this particular race this week here in France. Just a tricky track. It's a lot of technical sectors. It requires a lot of throttle rhythm and of course braking control through there, which does tend to eat up the fuel a little bit extra in the cars when you've got to nurse the car around some of the corners. So Mercedes is a very heavy car. It should be very interesting to see how these guys handle it around the racetrack. We got Keith up in the house. How is it going, Keith? Alright, it won't let you post it. DM it to me, Tattooed, via Discord, and I'll take it from there and post it for you. It might not let you post it. Alright, so let's flip over here, ladies and gentlemen, to the live scene, shall we? Make sure all our audios are working. Fantastic. I love it when everything works. And as you can see here, we have Mr. Smurf out on track right now, just running a few laps before these guys kick this thing off. And it should be quite interesting to see. Let's go Foxes, says Keith. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, so as you can see here, as we're with Mr. Smurf, he is whereabouts on the racetrack here. I just need to figure out where he is. And we're coming into the hard right next. He's about midway through the racetrack here, ladies and gentlemen. Yes, alright, and you can see he's up. So we've been seeing some pretty good times out of some of these drivers. As you can see on the screen there, Haley with a 50.82, and let me assure you, ladies and gentlemen, that is a pretty quick lap here around Alsace. So some of these drivers are showing some pretty darn good pace on this race here tonight. So I guess the bigger question is can Apex Racing driver Heathen, who is one of the sponsored drivers here in the series, and of course the only sponsored driver in the amateur division, does he have what it takes to repeat after the Watkins Glen win last week? It was scary for that driver, but he managed to keep it together and he got that thing across for the top of the podium, of course. So let's see what he's got here this week for Alsace. Come on, Ethan, let's go, boy. Hey, Chris Reeves up in the house over the light on Facebook there as well. I'm not sure why I'm not hearing my alerts. Yes, some things just don't work sometimes. It's just the way it is. Alright. There we go. We got Chip Reese. Now, Chip Reese, again, a driver that missed last week, had other obligations, was unable to make the first round in Watkins Glen. So we get fortunate for these drivers. Again, ladies and gentlemen, there is 2 drop rounds available for each driver. So at the end of the season, the staff and the officials are going to take the drivers' worst 2 rounds of the season, eliminate them from the standings. And what that does is it allows the drivers to have mechanical failures or a really bad day, or have a real life situation where they can't make a particular race. It still allows these drivers to have a shot and a fight for, of course, the championship. And it's a really good setup that these guys got here over a 10-week season. And yeah, so you know, it's not the end of the world for this driver. He's not even close to out of this fight for this championship yet, as again, this is only round 2 of the season here. So let's go, Heathen, says Apex is tattooed freak. Absolutely, it should be an interesting race here tonight, ladies and gentlemen. And we're just got to grab the right piece of equipment here so we can move some cameras around and check some stuff out. Speaking of last week's winner, Apex is Heathen. He's out on track here right now, just running a couple of quick little corners, just getting a feel for that car, and there we go. So all the drivers have been called back on track. So what's going to happen here now, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to see them reset the lobby. So we're going to get kicked out of the screen. There it is. And then from there, of course, we're going to there it is. Thanks, Tattooed. Appreciate it. I got it. Alright, we'll go pin that up in the channels here for everybody so you guys know where to find this awesome merch that, of course, Apex Sim Racing here has available for sale. We're just jumping into the YouTube chat right now. We're going to pop that in there. Bada bing, bada boom. And pin it. Alright, so in the YouTube channel, ladies and gentlemen, the link for the available merch from Apex Racing is pinned in the comment section on the YouTube channel. And we're now going to head over to the Facebook channel and do the same thing for all the amazing viewers over there on Facebook. Thank you for tuning in, everybody. Again, this is a family-friendly broadcast, ladies and gentlemen. So feel free to allow the kids to sit down and watch, as they shouldn't hear anything that they're not supposed to hear here tonight. Alright, so we're just going to get everything set up here, and qualifying is underway, ladies and gentlemen. So it's going to be 15 minutes, I believe it is, for the amateur guys, and so we got lots of time here. But Petey is the first one out on track, again, a substitute driver here in the race today for the AM division, and all substitute drivers are only earning half points in the season as well, and that just keeps it fair for the full-time drivers. But it also allows a substitute driver, if they get called in as a full-time driver early enough in the season, to of course, get full points and make the run for the championship. Hey, Paul coming in saying good luck to all. Fantastic stuff. All right, so we're just jumping over into the Facebook chat. We're going to pin that up in the comment section here if it lets me. Facebook is a little more picky. And bam, it does. Fantastic. So we're going to pin that guy up for you. All right, in the Facebook as well, ladies and gentlemen, for those viewing over there on Facebook, we have the Apex Sim Racing website link below there for you, everybody as well. If you're interested in the merch, go check it out. They've also got some stuff for the youngest member of your family. You got a new addition to the family. Go check out to see what they have to offer there as well, ladies and gentlemen. Apex Sim Racing thinking about the whole family here with this absolutely great merchandise, of course, they have for sale here in cooperation with the league and the sponsors. So we see Petey coming in for some soft tires there, so immediately that tells us that he is going to start on the medium tire compound. And Apple Pop 007 here viewing, hey, we appreciate you, especially all the drivers from all the divisions here at Flat Out Racing North America. You guys are the show, so we appreciate all the support. Ladies and gentlemen, if it is your first time in, welcome in. We are a Gran Turismo 7. It is a sim racing platform. It is our newest version of the game. It's been out for approximately 6 months. And let me tell you, it looks absolutely amazing. And you can see here on these beautiful liveries here, the OBR driver's liveries popping up and just absolutely bold and on display here today. Petey here as well, again coming in as a substitute driver here today. We have Apex Racing's driver Heathen, who is the last round's winner. And of course, car is always looking good there. We've got Chip Reese on track here as well, and he's getting an Iceman version of his Mercedes here. He's been working hard on that livery. He's quite proud of it. It looks really good on the racetrack. So, hey, there we go. Get a shot there of all that stuff up on that race car. We got Ricard here, and he's got a nice colorful car. Flying Fox Racing there. A little bit of graffiti paint on the back bumper of that car. Looking fantastic right there. Mr. Ricard. Livery's looking just top notch here. All right, we got what is that? Well, we're going to call them motors, just because I can't read my screen from this far away, apparently. Potential another substitute driver here, I think, today. I don't recognize the name. I could be wrong. We have Perea here as well, and we've seen him have a really solid race last week and getting a little bit wrong there coming out of that corner. It's a very difficult corner. That corner is turn 3, so it's all right. Back on track and way to go. But Haley coming around here for the end of his official hot lap here. Let's see what he puts down. Boom, a 1:54.177, so the mark has been set for the field behind him here. Mr. Smurf is going to stay in second place with a 1:57, so not the best lap coming from Mr. Smurf here. 1:54.999 from Andre, so that's going to put him in third. We got Petey coming around here. What's he got? A 2:01, so not on the best lap for Petey here. We got Chip Reese coming around as well, but again, 15 minutes, lots of time for these drivers to improve. At 1:55.148, so a good time there from Chip, putting him up in third. Heathen coming into pit lane for a different compounded tire. Let's see what Ricard does here as he comes out. His outlap is a 1:57, which is a very quick lap here, ladies and gentlemen. So if that's of anything to say, we could see a potential 53 or 52 coming out of this driver here. Great exit coming out of the corner. Not quite as straight line as he'd like it, but still very good exit. And second place with a 1:54.484. Very close to that pole sitter. Let's see, we got motors coming around here right now as well, and you can see him just getting out of the way of a driver on a lap, so we'll just continue to go. And then Perea here as well. So looks like 9 drivers here today in the AM division, so we're seeing a small field here. So some of the drivers not able to get their cars out on track here for some reason today, and it's a really unfortunate, but hey, it is what it is. 9 drivers fighting for points here is very good points, even for the driver who does finish the greatest here in this race. 9th place points is very, very good start to, of course, very young racing season here at Flat Out Racing North America. Andre is now up into P3 here as well with that 1:54.999. That was a great lap put down by this driver here, and we're going to stick with him as he's coming through. Ooh, he got it a little bit wrong, and obviously on controller there, you can usually tell by the flashing headlights. So just a controller thing that you can tell from controller drivers. They push that joystick button and that flashes the headlights. So potential controller driver here in our OBR driver Andres. So fantastic stuff. So good mix of wheel and controller drivers. So for all you folks that are thinking about trying to get involved in a league and you're interested, don't shy away just because you don't have the fancy sim rig and you don't have the fancy steering wheels and the fancy pedals, because you can do it on controller and keep up with the best of them as well. You can see a little flash of the headlights there from the driver in behind, maybe feeling that he was being held up a little bit there. You see him pull over, he's just going to get some space from Andre there. But let's get back through the field here. We got Haley in first place with a 151.690, so starting to show what he can do on the soft tire. Petey here with a 152.442, starting to look very quick here as well. Mr. Smurf with a 53.501. Ricardo with a 54.484. We got Andre with a 54.999. We've got Chip Reese with a 55.148. Perea with a 203, not his best lap yet. 206 here from Motors as well, and Heathen coming up with a 2-minute lap. So this will be his first full hot lap here. As he's coming around here, because he did make the pit stop there. So this is going to be the one that's going to count the best here for Heathen so far. So let's stick with our Apex sponsored driver Heathen and see what he does here as we're coming around about the mid part of the racetrack here. Hope everybody's enjoying everything. Hope the audio is fantastic. And welcome in, of course. If you haven't liked and shared the stream out yet, if you wouldn't mind doing so just one time for us, please, that'd be absolutely fantastic. It's something free that everyone can do to help the pages grow, and of course the league grow and get more recognition out in the sim racing world. And if you're not following and you don't want to miss any more action here from Flat Out Racing North America or GT45 Gaming, go ahead and just hit that follow or subscription button, depending what platform it is you're watching, and just turn on all those live notifications. You'll never miss another racing moment. We're going to have 5 separate episodes this week for everybody. Tomorrow night will be our Elite Division late race broadcast live for everybody, and then we're going to follow it up with our Pro race on Monday, and then we'll do our 2 Pro-Am races Tuesday and Wednesday. So 5 straight days coming from us here at Flat Out Racing North America this week, and you can, that way there you never miss your favorite division. We're opting to split it up, so every division has its own separate video on the stream for everyone to watch, so it's much easier for everybody to find the race, of course, that they're looking forward to watch. Let's go, Kells. Hey, DM Ghost, thanks, Tattooed. So, Haley's still sitting on pole position here. Now remember, ladies and gentlemen, pole position offering up a very valuable point here at the end of qualifying for the driver that finishes on the top of qualifiers. So it's very important to run absolutely as fast as you can, the best you can. Not tonight, my dude. We got to pre-plan that stuff if that's what we want to do. But yeah, maybe tomorrow night if there's room, for sure. Tomorrow night would be better, actually. But Haley in position. Petey sitting on the track, so happy with his time. I guess he's already determined that he's just good, or maybe he just wanted a little bit more space. I'm not sure here. Interesting little strategy, but looking like Petey's just saying, yeah, I'm pretty happy with that lap. Doesn't look like these guys have contested it too much, but we are seeing all our drivers settle in here. So Andre has parked it in pit lane, so I think he is just satisfied with his lap. But Haley's still improving on those fastest laps every time around, 151.225, and quite consistent here in qualifying as well. So he's opting really to use qualifying as a practice session here, and again showing good pace. Petey sitting there with a 152.442, and again looking pretty happy with that time, as Mr. Smurf is a second behind that second place driver Snow, Petey Snow. So we have Mr. Smurf here in third. We did see some pretty good lap times come out of this driver here as well in practice earlier, so he hasn't put down his best lap yet either. Let's see what he has when he comes around here. Sorry guys, the big pause there. I'm slightly distracted today apparently. Hey, let's go Fox. This is Flat Out Racing. Trying to save hand moisture. See, there we go. And again, you know, making a decision. His time's looking solid there. Up there currently we got Heathen now sitting in P4, so he's found a good lap as well with a 153.6. And you know, he's just opting to just call it there too. He's just parked it. He's just sitting in the grass chilling out there, and he's just going to wait for the end of qualifying here. We also have Ricard, who's now pulled over here as well, so qualifying over for this driver. Let's see what happens here as the next driver comes through. We don't see any change in the standings there, so qualifying looking like it is coming to an end here. It looks like a lot of the drivers are calling it. So there we go. Haley is also just moving slow here. You can see him pulling out of the way just in case anybody's still on a hot lap. Mr. Smurf is done here as well. So is Apex Heathen. Ricard? Not sure. Potentially still on a lap here. Kind of looks like it. He's up to speed. He's got the four-ways on though. Yeah. Alright, qualifying is over. The word just came from our officials. So, yeah, nine dudes here tonight in the AM division. So we're definitely short a few drivers. Not sure why they weren't able to get the cars on track here tonight, as we did have, I believe it was 14 drivers to be scheduled in the race here today. But it is what it is. We're going to kick it with 9. So again, like I said, really good points for all the drivers that did make it onto the track. Oh crap, wrong account. Oh, funny. That's good stuff right there. Alright, so the race is going to be starting here shortly, ladies and gentlemen. So the host is just going to push a button. We're going to see a screen change, and it's going to be go time. So we're going to try and be really quick here off the race start. So Haley getting pole position here, and we're going to jump out right away. And then come back into spectator mode, and hopefully, with any luck, we have some cameras for everybody. Alright, so there we go. You can see Haley on pole, and we're just waiting for those lights to go green, and we're not going to get the good camera views here. So the game, again, just not quite treating us right, but that's alright. We'll just sit behind our leader here, and you can see him losing a couple of positions very early on to Apex's Heathen and Petey, who dived down the inside of turn 1 there to grab position. So our leader very early on dropping down into P3. We're side by side coming out of turn 1 with Ricard and Andre in behind there and rubbing a little tires there. Not good for the tires, but no harm, no foul from either of those drivers. It was a very slightest of touch, but great job by these two drivers here. We're just going to stay on the back end of Haley, and you can see how quickly Ricard came into the corner there in behind Haley. And, ooh, he's going to get a little bit wide there, so is there room for Ricard? A little bit of contact potentially. Let's get out of this view here and get into a better view. Alright, so Haley in third. You can see up in front is Petey Snow. We do have Heathen chasing, and then we have Haley here in third. Haley, obviously the fastest man in qualifying. Bonus point for him, so great start to round 2 for that driver. We have Andres here in 4th place, and he's just off the beaten track here, these guys. Maybe a little battle developing between Haley and Heathen here. Let's see what happens when we come around this fast sweeping corner. This is a very interesting corner. If you get it wrong, you can get sent really wide into the wall, and it can just create carnage. So great job by these drivers. But you can see Haley, he's going to go outside here, and if he can hold this on Heathen, it's going to, no, Heathen's just going to back out and let him have the position here. Heathen knows it's not worth it, but looking for a cutback move potentially here. Let's see if he's got it. Gets the power down in that Mercedes, but not able to get it done. And oh, Petey making a mistake here. So you can see now Haley retaining the race lead. Heathen and Petey getting into it a little bit, coming up the corner there. Side by side here for second and third place. Who is going to get it? Petey is going to slot in front of Apex's Heathen here. And great little battle up front here very early on lap 1. Now lap 1 of 25, ladies and gentlemen. The only difference from last week is the time multiplier is from 15 down to, I believe, 5. So we're not going to quite see the transition of the weather as quickly as we did last week, which means we should have some more daytime racing for everybody to watch and look at these beautiful cars. So we're just going to keep our eye on it. I don't want to leave the track until the racers have settled in, and then we can get the better views. So the TV camera is waiting to start showing what they've got here for us today, but we do have to wait until these legends are done battling so fiercely here as we're coming into this, again, high-speed left-hander here. Ooh, really fortunate there as he didn't get into the grass. That usually hooks these race cars around. And Mr. Smurf is trying to answer back. Ooh, he's going to get some curb goal defensive on Perea there. Perea thought he's seen an opportunity, tried to follow through there, but Mr. Smurf cutting that off. Great defense here from Mr. Smurf on our 6th place driver Perea here, and Perea absolutely tried to see if he can get through there, but Mr. Smurf denying him the opportunity. And you can see Mr. Smurf just kind of assessing the situation here now in behind, taking a look, seeing where he's weak and where he's strong and where he can attempt to make the next attempted move there in 6th place. But you can see Mr. Smurf and Ricard still very close together, and very nice line there from Perea as we come around that very difficult left-hander, and he gaining some time there. So now we're going to come into this high-speed sector. Dirty air does factor in. These are Group 3 cars, ladies and gentlemen, so they do have full aerodynamic racing packages on them, and so you can see these drive wobbling left to right in behind each other, and that's just because they're trying to get a little bit of fresh, clean air into the race cars so they respond as expected coming into the corners. Here we go, battle for position up ahead of Mr. Smurf, and he doesn't quite get it right, and contact, and that's super unfortunate. There's Mr. Smurf just coming across a little bit of a touch on the front driver there and spun around. We can see Andre's going to grab that position there, and Mr. Smurf is just getting himself sorted out here and back on track. So really unfortunate for Mr. Smurf there, and we see Motors here just getting a little bit wrong into the hairpin, but back to our leader. Okay, so fastest lap is a 151. We're going to jump out, we're going to come back in one more time, and there we go. TV camera crew is back at it and kicking it off in absolute glory, and we forgot to turn that off. I don't like that. Let's get rid of that. There we go. All right, ladies and gentlemen, so Haley in the lead, Petey in second place, looking very strong here very early on, is coming in just at the last minute, qualifying for the substitute position here in the AM series this week, and right away getting into the races. You can see we're definitely short drivers here today. Apex's Heathen still sitting on podium position here in third place, so far good response from this driver after a nice shaky win last week at Watkins Glen from this driver, but still solid win nonetheless. Ricard here in fourth, starting to break that gap from the driver behind, who's now Perea. So Perea has gone from 6th to 5th place. He's starting to chase those guys down in front. Maybe a little battle developing here. As you can see, Ricard is starting to close up on the sponsored driver from Apex Racing here, and a little bit of separation, about a second between all our drivers here currently on the racetrack. So, Perea's getting it wrong. He's going to get into that wall. Great save there on that Mercedes by Perea, but that means Chip Reese is going to close up. So here's a driver we haven't seen too much of so far in this race because it's been so busy in that front pack. We're in the mid pack of our AM division here now, and Chip Reese is showing some very good, solid, consistent laps so far, just taking it easy, not forcing the issue, and now he is in a battle for 5th place with Perea here, and he's going to get the optimal line through the corner. He's going to get done. Perea looking for the cutback there. He made a mistake going into corner 1, so buckling under a little bit of pressure. He needs to settle himself down, and Chip Reese making a mistake off that curb, and Perea is going to get the position back from Chip Reese. So tense moments there for both these drivers, and great battle being had, great responses by these drivers, but Perea is going to try and get away from Chip Reese here a little bit, try to get a little bit of fresh air in that race car, try to calm himself down and get back in the rhythm. Alsace Village, ladies and gentlemen, requires a lot of concentration and rhythm around this racetrack to get it just right, and boy, these drivers are really giving it everything they've got here tonight. Andre's in 7th. He's just coming around that start-finish line there right now, so a little bit of separation, but pit strategies are going to change this up a little bit here from some of the drivers. So Mr. Smurf, we see after his incident here, 6 seconds in behind on Andres. We've got Motors in 9th place, just a little tiny bit off the pace here, but still putting in the time. So Haley coming around with a 5.4 second gap in the lead. Sweaty palms here, get it done. Proper account now. Go Foxes. Oh boy, Paradise coming in with the like. Fuentes coming in with the like. Corey Hawkins also coming in with that like there on Facebook. Toolshed coming in with the like as well. Much love, everybody. Thank you all for the support. We appreciate it here. Haley in the lead though, and showing very early on how much practice really does pay off here early on in this race. It's clear that this driver has been putting some work in this week based off those 2 official at speed laps are only within 0.2 of a second of each other, so that is showing very good consistent pace from this driver so far. So we're going to stick with our leader here as we come around the final sector here. We're going to come around a sweeping left-hander going uphill, and then it immediately kinks a little bit going back downhill into a downhill chicane. Quite undulating section of the racetrack here, very difficult to navigate. If you come in too hot, there's a lot of walls around to damage that poor race car up, so very difficult sector here, but looking like Haley has this down packed as he just misses that curve a little bit, but clipping the wall just a little bit. Fortunate for that driver not to really slow him down here, and it is a 151.746, so fastest lap on the racetrack currently belonging to first place driver Haley. We have Petey here in the second as well, and looking very strong early on in the race. They're getting all that curb, just getting great rotation there, 3 seconds ahead of third place driver Apex Heathen, who still has Ricard and Perea in tow. It looks like Perea's fallen off a little bit there, so now just a battle between Apex's Heathen and K. Ricard here as well from Flying Fox Racing, ladies and gentlemen. Perea here as well, absolutely cruising with the OBR gang here, and he looked really solid in round 1 of the series here, and he's looking pretty consistent and solid here in round round 2 as well. Now, you don't need to win races to win a championship, ladies and gentlemen. The drivers really just need to show consistency and strong finishes all season long, and a driver can win a championship in these divisions without ever winning a race. So it's all about consistency and putting the work in here, and we're definitely seeing that from some of the drivers here tonight. Mr. Smurf in 7th place. We know this driver hasn't put out his best laps yet tonight. I can tell you that from the testing I was watching earlier. Had a little bit of an incident on track, as we've seen there. He came to move down into the racing line, not realizing a driver had a nose on him, a little bit of contact, and he was on the unfortunate end of that contact, spitting that race car out. Took him a little bit of time to get himself sorted out, but back on track and starting to put down some nice solid laps there. So we are on lap 5 of 25, ladies and gentlemen. We are only 1/5 of the way through this race so far, as we are again with our current race leader, Haley, and just a little onboard look here of our Mercedes. We can only get so much angle before it won't let us take a look anymore. You fine tune this. You can see that beautiful shot out that left mirror there. You can see a fair amount of the track in behind him. Purple again is our leader with a 151.615. So every lap as his car is losing a little bit of fuel weight, he's just finding a little bit more time. Moving to our 2nd place driver, Petey here, and you can see he hasn't really lost Heathen or Ricard in behind. He's just got a nice little cozy 3-second gap on those 2 drivers currently here in 2nd. Apex's Heathen in 3rd place here, and his viewer currently, you can see that 2nd place driver there, but he's just early on in the race. There's no need to really over push your race car here right now. But looking in behind, this is what he's seeing in behind here. As you can see, that very colorful Mercedes AMG of K. Ricard. Ooh, and Heathen does not get it right. And oh, he's getting a little bit wide, and he's going to do some donuts. And really unfortunate here for this driver. Let's see what this is going to cost him. He gets out of the way. Perea getting around here. So 2 positions lost from Apex Heathen here. And he is back on the road. All right, so interesting. Chip Reese in 6th place. I feel bad for you because every time it seems like I put the camera on the poor fella, he makes a mistake. So maybe we'll stop showing onboard shots of Apex Racing's Heathen here for the rest of the broadcast, and quit cursing the poor fella here. OBR Andre is in 8th place. I'm sorry, brother. I'm so sorry. The Motors here in 9th place after round 1 of his incident there, very late in the race, almost losing the lead of the race due to a very similar incident. We went on board with Heathen to do a lap with him, and much of the same thing there just a moment ago. So it's more of an inside joke, I guess, amongst competitors and of course the guys behind the scenes of the league. But nonetheless, we'll throw an early apology out for when he watches the broadcast later. My bad, buddy. My bad. But hey, the guy's got pace. He can manage this, so no big deal. Petey here in 2nd place. We've got Ricard in 3rd. Now the big winner of Apex Heathen's mistake there early on in the race, going to move up into podium positions, and he's got a cushion. I mean, 8 seconds from the driver Perea in behind, who's now got Heathen all up in his business, 1 second behind him. So Heathen now going to try and make some time back up here as we continue on, and opting to go for pit strategy here. So very early pit in for Apex Heathen here. So interesting as we're starting to see pit strategies already play in. Chip Reese coming around here. He's going to take 6th place. Of course, Mr. Smurf is going to come around here as well. Ooh, Chip just comes up in front of Heathen. So very short pit stop from our Apex's Heathen. Interesting strategy this driver's playing here, opting to change it up a little bit. And now battling for 6th place here with Chip, or 5th place, sorry, with Chip Reese. So we're going to stay with the TV cameras here and let them catch all this action side by side as we're coming through the corner. And ooh, Heathen does have the inside line. Chip doing a great job at holding his position there as they come through there, and that's going to force Heathen to the outside of this corner. Not the ideal position in this corner, but ooh, going for the cutback. Can Heathen get it done? He does get a pretty good run on Chip Reese in front. And boy, oh boy, these boys are having themselves a good old school racing battle here with these Mercedes. So let's get it on. Let's keep with these drivers as Chip and Heathen are giving it all they got here. Ooh, a little bit of contact there. No harm, no foul from those drivers. You can see Heathen getting a little bit wide, but should give him a good exit line here. And, ooh, a little bit of contact there from the drivers again. So these two are battling absolutely hard here for this position. Heathen's going to get out front coming into the sweeper. Chip Reese is taking for a low line here. He's going to look for a good exit coming out of the corner. But Heathen just maintaining good pace through that corner. He's going to keep the exit speed out. Chip Reese not having an immediate response here. So let's keep with this yet as we come through this final sector. Some great racing by these two drivers here. As Heathen now coming into the hairpin, getting a little bit wide. Chip's going to try and respond here on the inside looking for the cutback. But Heathen's going to have the optimal line coming through the corner. Going to get that apex, come out nice and quick, and Chip is still in 6th place. So Heathen has grabbed P5 from Chip Reese here, and a great battle by these drivers there through that lap here at Alsace Village. Fantastic stuff. Chip Reese here in 6th place now, chasing Heathen, trying to get place number 5 back from this driver, but we should start seeing a round of pit stops, and as we say that, we actually see Chip Reese come into pit lane. So Chip Reese now making a stop here as Mr. Smurf is going to come around, take that position from Chip in 6th place. Chip getting some tires here, and Motors coming around here in 9th place. So great job so far by our AM division here again. And again, great points up for grabs for these drivers here tonight with only 9 of them on the grid. That is huge points, even for the driver that doesn't have the best day today. Haley, though, in command of this race. Huge gap, 13.4 seconds. On this track with the short pit stops, obviously we've seen already very early on in the race here. This is a good sized gap to be managing here very early on in the race. So Mr. Haley looking very in command early on, and you can see him catching up to Motors. Ooh, Motors maybe panicking a little bit, seeing the leader coming up, went a little bit wide there, but no harm, no foul, and leader able to get around. But I do suspect we're going to be seeing him come into pit lane here fairly soon. I could be wrong. We're going to stick with our leader coming through this downhill chicane again. Downhill chicane and undulating corners, and then followed up by another third chicane essentially with a massive wall there. You don't want to hit that wall. It does not feel good on the poor race car. And 152.2 being so far the worst lap from this driver here in the race today, discounting of course our starting lap. RWB Petey's going to come around here. Are we going to see him go in? No, he's going to opt to stay out here in 2nd. Ricard in 3rd place. Let's see if he decides to come in, and no, he opts to stay out as well. So we are coming lap 9 of 25, ladies and gentlemen. We're not quite halfway there. We're about 1/3 of the way there now. And we see Perea now coming around here as well, 5 seconds behind 3rd place driver Ricard. Mr. Smurf in 5th place. Is he going to opt to come in? No, he's going to stay out. So Heathen, who altered his strategy a little bit after that spin on the racetrack, only 4.6 seconds behind Mr. Smurf in 5th place. Let's see how this strategy plays out for Apex Racing's Heathen. Andre in 7th. Has not pitched yet. We have Chip Reese, who's now just come out of pit lane here in 8th place, about 9 seconds behind OBR driver Andre. And then we have Motors here, who has now RWB Petey coming up on him. He doesn't need to panic here. All he has to do is hold the racing line through the corners here, and it is up to these drivers in the lead to find a safe way around the driver. It's just up to the driver to hold that line. And you can see Petey here being very patient. And great respect there shown by Motors to our 2nd place driver. Absolutely beautifully executed, ladies and gentlemen. That is how a blue flag car handles a blue flag situation. That driver maintained the racing line. That allows the lead lap car to be able to predict what that driver is going to do on the racetrack, and then from there that driver assessed his situation where he could get around, and Petey executed perfectly, making a little mistake coming into the next corner there, but no harm no foul, manages to stay ahead of Motors there. Beautifully executed blue flag situation there. Great racing awareness from both those drivers. But Haley is cruising, 15.7 seconds in the lead. Oh boy, it is going to be very tough to catch that driver here today, as Petey's coming around for another lap as well. Let's see what Ricard's going to do here as he comes around. He's going to go another time around here as well. We have Perea here in 4th place. Ooh, it almost looked like he clipped that wall there a little tiny bit, but holding strong here on 5th place driver Mr. Smurf, who's 10 seconds behind. So Mr. Smurf coming through here right now is going to go out again. So start of lap 10 here, ladies and gentlemen. almost at our halfway point of our race here. Again, ladies and gentlemen, this is presented by Flat Out Racing North America. I'm your host for the evening, GT45 Gaming, and proudly sponsored by GTR Simulators and Apex Racing Team. As you can see, that's been displayed on the bottom right hand side of the quarter is some of the available merchandise for sale from Apex Racing Team on their website, and in the pinned comments here on YouTube and Facebook, of course, is that website. If you're interested, check out that merchandise. It is available for sale for only an available limited time availability, ladies and gentlemen, so you got to get it while it's hot. He's in here in 6th place, looking very strong. Different strategy, 3.2 seconds, slowly starting to drip away on Mr. Smurf here. So, are we going to see a battle in the next lap or two between these two drivers? However, Mr. Smurf hasn't pit yet, so we should probably be seeing rounds of pit stops from the rest of our drivers here within the next couple laps. And you can see Motors here now doing much of the same thing in the exact same corner again. Great job there. Ricard able to get around, not quite as efficiently as PD did there. I'm not sure what Ricard is doing there, but a little bit of a miscommunication between the drivers there. And Ricard does eventually get around, but he just didn't commit to that move there, and that's what happens when you don't commit to that move. So a little bit of a mistake made by Ricard there, and hopefully that Motors is back on the road and going. So great job by all these drivers, and you know, racing is a tough business, and there's a lot to be looking in your mirrors. You're looking forward, you want to miss your braking point. We got this battle developing here between Perea and Motors here now. And Perea has gotten around Motors fairly efficiently here. You can see as they're coming around, and both drivers are opting to continue out another lap. He's in here now in 6th place, and you can see he is on top of Mr. Smurf here. So the difference in the amount of rubber on these drivers' tires is starting to show between the two drivers here. And 151, i.e. 151.133 is very fast time. We're talking about Pro-Am top times, very mid-pro times there from that driver. So showing some incredible pace here as well is that leader Haley. So he's on Mr. Smurf here, but not quite on Mr. Smurf yet. So let's keep going through the field here. Chip Reese is now up into 7th place, 17 seconds behind Heathen in 6th. We've got OBR Andres in 8th place, 7.4 seconds behind Chip Reese. And Motors here doing his thing, man. He is giving her everything he's got on this racetrack today and putting on a great show here for all our racers. And the leader, Haley, when is he going to pit is the question. We should start seeing a round of pit stops very, very soon. So we're not going to tell you what these guys are on just yet, ladies and gentlemen. You still got to wait. You still got to wait. And he's going to go out yet another time. So interesting. A 152 there from Haley. Very quick times from this driver. We got PD here, who you can see the times are quite a bit slower. 52s, 53s, some 54s in the mix there. Tells me that he's potentially on a different tire compound than the driver maybe in front. Ricard here in 3rd place. Also putting down some varying times. So lacking just a smidge amount of consistency here, especially as these tires are starting to break down on him here. But still holding strong in 3rd place. 2.8 seconds from Perea, now in 4th. So starting to bleed that time off of that driver in front. Heathen has now made his way around Mr. Smurf and up into 5th place. So back to where he was when he made that pit stop. 7.8 seconds behind Perea. Let's see if he can bleed the time down. Chip Reese here in 7th, 16 seconds behind Mr. Smurf. Slowly but surely, he's chipping away. Andre is 6.4 behind Chip Reese. Knocked a second off that driver in our last rotation. And Motors here still doing his thing, man. He's giving her. So our race leader should be coming in, I would assume, within the next lap or two. It is hard to say, though. Potentially a one-stop strategy coming from this driver here today. I didn't think we'd see too many one-stop strategies from these drivers today, but just goes to show that it is possible. But now you can see really starting to feel the tire wear underneath that race car as he went super wide through the corner there, and it was just a lack of grip as he was coming around the corners. So let's see if he opts to finally say, yeah, okay, you know what, we got a good gap here, let's see where we come out. You can really see him starting to really having to work this car through these corners here as well. Is he going to come in? No, he is going to stay out for yet another lap, ladies and gentlemen. wow, I mean, what can we say? Kudos to this driver. He is on his strategy, and he is going to stick to it. So, our leader, S. Haley, ladies and gentlemen, on lap 13. We are at the midway point of our race here, and looking very, very strong with a 18-second gap on our second place driver, RWB's Petey, who has a 20-second gap on third place driver, K. Ricard. So both these drivers showing so far they're on a one-stop strategy. Ricard also looking to be on that strategy, and you see Ricard actually coming into pit lane here. So third place driver now making his first stop of the race. That's going to give third place to Perea here now as he comes around for another lap here on Alsace Village. Apex's Heathen now is going to move up into fourth place due to that stop from K. Ricard here. Let's see what he can do here as he continues on the charge for Perea. 4.3 seconds. Mr. Smurf 6.2 seconds behind Apex's Heathen, now moves up into fifth place due to that pit stop, and Ricard's going to come back out in sixth place. So 3-position pit stop there for Ricard. Chip Reese in seventh, 9.8 seconds behind Ricard. We got Andre here 6.4 seconds behind Chip Reese, and Motors a lap down here currently, but still giving it everything he's got. Again, getting called in last minute here, so tough racetrack to get called in last minute here is Alsace Village, ladies and gentlemen. All right, so the big question now of the day is, when is this driver going to make his pit stop? We assume it's going to be very soon. Incredible amount of laps on the tire we're seeing here from this driver. My chat is all messed up on my software, so I apologize if I'm missing comments, ladies and gentlemen. I've been monitoring it, but it's doing some weird stuff. So Perea now up into P3 here. So we see Perea 23 seconds behind RWB PD. That puts Apex's Heathen now up into fourth place. So we have seen another driver go into pit lane. Mr. Smurf moving up into fifth. Ricard still in sixth here. Chip chasing in seventh. Andre's in eighth, and Mr. Motors here in ninth place. Not sure which driver pit as I missed it, or maybe one just had an incident and I missed that too. I'm not sure. I was too busy yakking. Not sure why it is not. There we go. All right. I agree. But Haley is cruising. He's going to go 14 laps on a set of those tires. That's pretty impressive, folks. You can see PD here, again, quite a bit more behind the leader here. 19 seconds, almost a 20-second gap. 24 seconds from our third place driver, Perea. We have Heathen here in fourth place, chasing those two drivers down. 2.3 seconds, so slowly dripping the time down from Perea up there in third place. Ricard, sorry, now up into fifth place as another driver, Mr. Smurf, having to make a pit stop there. We got Chip moving up into sixth place thanks to that pit stop. Andre is moving up into seventh thanks to that pit stop. And we got Smurf and Motors in pit lane. You can see Motors is, yeah, it's getting some fuel in that Mercedes there, but are we going to see the leader finally come into pit lane here? Yes, I didn't think he was going to have the fuel to go around one more time, and there we go. So our leader is now into pit lane, and I'm assuming this driver is going to follow suit here, as you can only drive so far before you don't have the petro to continue driving, ladies and gentlemen. So these guys having to make the decision. If I were this driver, I would definitely be coming in behind the leader, and that is the case. Perea is in third place on fumes as well. So Apex Heathen chasing here. Let's see where he's going to come out. He had a pretty significant gap to the leader. It was 40-some seconds. So the different pit strategies definitely weighing in here today time-wise. And we're going to see Perea come into pit lane here as well. And Heathen, again, opting to stay out. So Haley does come back out in the lead, and he's already up the road after turn one. Heathen is going to jump into second place here. So PD is going down into third, Perea in fourth. Where's Ricard as he's coming around right now? So PD will now come out in third place as he is already out of pit lane and up the racetrack here. Ricard's going to come out in fourth place just ahead of Perea. See him getting the fuel there. So Chip Reese in sixth place. Where is he going to come out in relation to Perea? And he's going to grab that position on Perea here as well. So our two-stop and our one-stop drivers finally circulating that first round of pit stops, and we have Andres. He's going to stay out another lap. Mr. Smurf making his second stop of the race, I believe, already. And Motors here has just completed his first stop, and you can see a little bit controller wobble there. And we have Venice Speed is just jumped into the lobby. Really unfortunate they're missing the race here tonight, but going to come in and support the guys anyway. So fantastic stuff. Haley here in first place and looking very strong. 9-second lead on second place's driver. Apex's Heathen. So strategy difference, ladies and gentlemen. It is quite a bit different between our drivers on the podium. Currently the leader is on a one-stop, our second place driver on a two-stop, and our third place driver on a one-stop. Chasing in fourth place is Ricard, who appears to be also on a one-stop. That could change though. Chip Reese here in fifth now after that round of pit stops, having a fantastic race. Perea coming out in sixth with Andre chasing 5.4 seconds behind. Mr. Smurf 8 seconds behind. Andre is the OBR driver in front, and Mr. Motors doing his thing here, man. He is giving her a huge round of applause for this driver today. Fantastic stuff. Not having the best of days for him pace-wise, but definitely showing that he has some huge racing awareness and racing skill in behind the wheel of those race cars and navigating things very beautifully. We have Apex Racing's Heathen now coming into pit lane. So, second stop for this driver here. And let's see how we get going down the track. Is he going to lose P3? Ricard is now coming around the corner here. Let's see what happens. Coming into turn one, he is ahead. We do not see the car of Heathen coming out of pit lane yet. So Ricard now moving up into third place. The question is what is that gap going to be? Chip Reese just coming around ahead of Apex Racing's Heathen. They're just beating him out of pit lane, so he is going to jump up into fourth place. Apex Heathen coming out in fifth. Interesting strategy from this driver. Sixth place driver Perea here as well. We got Andres in seventh. We've got Mr. Smurf in eighth. Mr. Motors in ninth place, rounding out our grid here today. Yes, that's right, ladies and gentlemen, small grid here today, but still great racing on track by all 9 drivers. They are showing some incredible skill here today, and this man just cannot be touched today. The only way this man is going to bottle this race is on his own doing at this point, and he has just seriously got to bring it home. 17-second lead on RWPD in behind. Now, remember, from our pit stops, these drivers were on different tire compounds. I'm not going to relay that information to you guys. You guys got a chance to see it for yourselves. But could this play in at the end of the race? 17-second gap is a very large gap to make up. Okay, Ricard here in third place, 14 seconds behind our second place driver, RWB's PD. Heathen in fourth place, charging our winner from round one here, trying to get back up into the podium positions here in round two, having a solid race for himself here. Great response from round one so far from Apex Heathen. We got Chip here in fifth place. He is on the tail of Heathen. Heathen got around Chip here, obviously, after we were going through a rotation. They're losing a spot, and now he's under fire from Perea here. And you can see Perea's got a great run on him. He gets around. I think there was a smidge of contact there as he got a little bit out of sorts there, but both drivers still cruising down the road here. So Chip Reese dropping down into sixth place here now. Are we going to see a pit stop coming from this driver very soon? It does seem, just by the way he took that corner, he's going to come into pit lane, and I am correct. So Chip Reese making a second stop. Going to lose position here to Andres as Andres coming around. We got Mr. Smurf in eighth, who's going to grab that spot from Chip Reese as well. And our AM guys are pretty close together. These pit lanes are costing them positions very quickly. And Motors, ooh, not quite getting it right there. You see some smoke coming from that car. Big hit there for Motors. And ooh, really great job there by our leader to just tuck in underside, underneath that driver who was in complications there. So very close call there for the leader, but great job for Motors to hold his line there and just allow him to slip through there. PD in second place, going to gain a little bit of time potentially on our first place driver there. Gets a little bit of hang up there, but still 16.4 second gap here. Ricard still at 16 seconds from our second place driver PD as well, and first and second place looking very solid with that one-stop strategy to take those positions home here today. Ricard 11 seconds up the road from Apex Racing's Heathen, so it's going to be interesting to see if he can make anything happen here as he continues on 3.6 seconds, pardon me, from Perea here in 5th place. Andre in 6th, teammate just behind, 9.4 seconds. Mr. Smurf is 2.8 seconds off of these two drivers from OBR here and starting to chase. So are we going to see a battle for 6th place here shortly? Quite potentially. Chip Reese in 8th on a different strategies than some of the drivers up front. So when these strategies start to come into play, this is when we're going to see which strategy here is going to prove worthy tonight at Alsace Village here in our amateur division at Flat Out Racing North America. Daniel coming in with that thumbs up over on Facebook as well. Much love, my guy. Appreciate all the support. Again, ladies and gentlemen, this is presented by Flat Out Racing North America. It is sponsored by GTR Simulators and Apex Racing Team. Of course, the graphics package here seen here on screen are done by High Pre Graphics. For more information, contact Ghost GT45 Gaming through his pages here, and we'll set you up with a meeting with this absolute legend who does all our stream graphics here at Flat Out Racing and GT45 Gaming as a whole. And of course, I'm your host for the evening, GT45 Gaming. So much love out there, everybody. Thank you for being here, and hope everybody's enjoying the broadcast so far. But PD starting to catch up to Motors here, so again, you know, we've seen PD really handle this situation really well last time. Both these drivers handled it very well last time. We're coming to a very similar spot in the racetrack, as a matter of fact, where, PD getting a little bit wide there, but he does a great job to keep it together, and he's going to go inside here and should have no issue getting around Motors. And a great job here again by these two drivers showing you how to handle the blue flag situation. Heathen has now moved up into 3rd place here as well. 21 seconds from second place RWBPD, and only 1 second, 0.8 seconds, sorry, ahead of Perea. So Perea starting to put some pressure on Heathen. We've seen this happening last week as well. Mr. Smurf here in 5th place, and his driver's showing some really incredible racing pace in the first couple rounds here, so don't discount this driver out of this battle yet either, ladies and gentlemen. K. Ricard here in 6th place, playing that patient, very long patient one-stop game. The one-stop game is all about consistency and not burning up your tires in your race car. So these one-stop drivers having to drive it a little bit differently than the drivers on the two-stop, where they can drive the cars a little bit harder because their grip on their tires are going to last for really the short amount of time that they're on them for. Chip Reese here in 8th place, having a good showing here very early on in the season for him here as well. 4.9 seconds off OBR driver Andre, and Motors here still giving her everything he's got. Huge shootout to all these drivers, man. We love it to see the drivers put out the race no matter what happens. Even if they got a limping race car, we love to see them finish it out. Haley 22 seconds up the road. I don't think anybody's got an answer for this gentleman here today. I don't think that he liked losing last week, and I think he's here to show that he's here to fight for a championship, and this absolutely amazing prize pool here offered up by GTR Simulators and the Apex Racing. But he's flying today, folks. He has shown that he's here to race. Oh, won't let me do nothing from here. Alright, PD in 2nd place, ladies and gentlemen, and we're going to do an onboard with our driver here. We're just waiting for him to come within striking distance of that start-finish line. So what we're going to do here, ladies and gentlemen, is we're going to start lap 20 on board with our race leader, who's led the majority of this race, who's shown to be the guy everybody needs to chase here today. 22 seconds up the road from 2nd place driver RWPD. So let's jump on board here with this driver for a lap around Alsace Village and enjoy a lap with our driver here leading the race tonight, ladies and gentlemen. What an absolutely fantastic lap by our leader there. And I think I've been saying the poor gentleman's name wrong all night long. I believe it's Hallie, not Haley. I do apologize, my man, when you rewatch the stream. It's nothing personal. I'll get it right by the end of the season, I promise. RWBPD's here in second place, 20 seconds behind. So Hallie just really maintaining the gap here at this point. 24-second gap to Apex's Heathen here in third place, who's really the driver who's in the fight for his life here right now. He's holding down that final podium position, and he has Perea all up in his business here. This driver is within that slipstream at this point now, so it's going to come down to which driver has the most left in this race car as we come around the racetrack here. So let's jump on board with Perea here as he tries to chase Heathen down. Now he doesn't have to worry about anything happening in behind him here right now. Mr. Smurf is 13 seconds behind, so these guys have some room to battle if that's what they choose to do. But if they want any shot at even having a chance at a mistake from one of the two front runners here, battling is just going to continue to keep them further and further away from those front two. But if I were Apex Heathen here right now and I'm sitting in third place, I'm just worrying about that third place podium at this point and just fine-tuning it, not making that mistake, and not allowing Perea to get an advantage on me at some point before the end of this race here, and then of course have to try and battle for that position back. Mr. Smurf here in fifth place. Like I said, 13 seconds down the road from Perea and Heathen there. Ricard here 9 seconds behind Mr. Smurf. So one stop working for some drivers, not maybe necessarily for other drivers, yet to be determined. Race is still young. We still have 4 laps remaining. We got Chip Reese here in 8th place and Motors here in 9th. But Hallie is coming down here, the downhill chicane section right near at Alsace Village is the telltale sign we're coming near the end of our lap here. One more corner and we're at that start finish line, which comes very quickly. It is right about here, and we are on lap 22 of 25, ladies and gentlemen. So 4 laps remaining, including this lap, as we're coming around. 19-second gap to RWBPD here in second place. We have Heathen here still holding down third place from Perea, but boy oh boy, these two are in a battle for that position here right now, and I feel like these two drivers are going to get very cozy racing each other here this season. Alright, Perea is looking very solid here as well, and I believe this driver is a controller driver, ladies and gentlemen. We do have another driver entering the room here. Viewers, please make sure you read the titles on the lobbies when you are on Gran Turismo 7, and make sure that you aren't jumping into something like this, just so we don't have a glitching issue on the racetrack that causes a driver to miss a corner or something because of a frame drop. We do please ask that you read the titles of the lobbies before jumping into any lobbies. I know I have a large community that likes to come and race with me. I do love all the support and that you guys just want to be on track racing with the community, but please do read the titles to the lobbies before jumping into these races. We have OBR Andres here in 7th place. We have Chip here in 8th, and we have Motors here in 9th place. So Hallie still in the lead. Doesn't look like any drivers affected by that lag spike there, hopefully. 23 seconds up the road from RWBPD. PD is 23 seconds up the road from third place driver Apex Heathen, who still has Perea all over him. So Apex Heathen has been under pressure here for about 3 laps now, and he's handling it quite well here so far, but Perea is not letting this guy get away. He's like, buddy, not this time. He's like, we are gonna fight for this position. I want that podium just as bad as you do. Let's have a battle here, and it is starting to pop off between these two. Perea is really just working on catching Heathen here so he can get an opportunity to get that move done. You can see he was going for a really big exit there as he takes just a slightly different line. He went dipped down that track a little bit, going for a big high line exit. Typically will give you a little bit more speed, but it is going to be harder on the tires in this car. So drivers have a lot to worry about here as we near the end of our race. Fuel being an issue, tires being an issue for some of these drivers on multiple different strategies. Andre's in 7th. We have Chip Reese in 8th with a battle right there. Oh, I'm not sure who that was. Potentially our leader? Ooh, it was our leader, so a little bit of contact there. So Chip Reese under fire here from our leader, potentially battling for his position to be a lap down here. So let's see what happens here as we again progress further. Now again, ladies and gentlemen, the ideal situation here is just for that driver to hold the racing line. That makes that driver predictable, and it's up to the lead lap driver to find their way around. That is what we're hoping to see here from these drivers, and we've seen a very good display of it here tonight. So Chip Reese did exactly that. Haley went to go inside and just couldn't hold the line. A little bit of contact between the two drivers, and Chip Reese actually getting a little bit of advantage from there. He gained a little bit of a gap on the leader here now. So it really comes down to nerves of steel and just good racetrack awareness. You can see Haley's starting to kind of set that move up to get around Chip Reese here as we're coming through this final sector. He's starting to close up on him a little bit, every little bit of braking under corners. You can see the leader Haley catching up to Chip Reese here. But again, with the size of the lead that this driver has, it really doesn't need to be a priority to also get around this driver. I mean, if this driver's not really holding him up too much and he's not costing him anything in this race, it's not necessarily the worst thing just to sit in behind him too as well. So we'll see how Haley reacts here. You can see he gets a good run here. Is he going to try and get a move done on Chip coming into T1? We could see an inside move happen here into T1. So Chip doing exactly what he's supposed to be doing here. He's just taking the racing line. You can see him on that racing line. You can see our leader Hallie here. Okay, going perfect. Be predictable. I know where you're going. I know how you're going to exit. He comes in. Look at the time he's gained on Chip here. Very patient driving by our leader Hallie here, and these guys are putting on a pretty good show on how a blue flag car battles for his lap position on the leader here. Very clean, very good battle between these two. Good respect being shown here. And I gotta tell you, week in and week out, these amateur drivers are really putting on a clinic on how to race around these racetracks, man. Hats off to these amateur drivers, man. They are doing a fantastic job here again in round 2. What a fight for third. Hey, facts. We're going to get back to that as well. Actually, now that you mention it, thank you for mentioning that. But it looks like Heathen has opened up the gap on Perea a little bit here. So maybe seeing some tire wear affecting Perea a little bit, falling off the pace here. Mr. Smurf in 5th now, chasing 15 seconds behind. He has got Ricard starting to chase him down now. Very interesting. We got Andres in 7th, we got Chip Reese in 8th, and again, now you can see Hallie has gotten around him there, so Hallie has finally officially won that battle, but that was a very solid 2-lap battle between 8th place driver Chip Reese and our 1st place driver Hallie as he was trying to put that driver a lap down. That was fantastic driving by those two drivers, and that is, ladies and gentlemen, these AM guys are showing why they deserve to be up in the next set of lobbies when next season comes around for season 3. I mean, all these guys putting on an absolute racing clinic here tonight. PD Snow, again, substitute driver here tonight, looking very strong, coming around on lap 24 here in 2nd place. But as Haley comes around here, this is going to be his final lap next time around this racetrack, ladies and gentlemen. So, I mean, what can we say? We are nearing Hallie, the end of our race here. And there we go. Lap 25, final lap for the leader, Hallie, ladies and gentlemen. 20-second gap on RWB's PD, who's just coming around that final chicane, downhill, very difficult sector. And let me tell you, this driver is got his hands full with this Mercedes as he's coming around these final few corners here for his final lap. And 26-second gap on Apex's Heathen. So Heathen's in pretty good shape here. Doesn't need to worry about chasing those drivers up front. He just needs to focus on not allowing 4th place driver Perea on catching up. So Apex's Heathen rounding out our podium here with, well, he's not quite on that final lap, but he is approaching that point here in the race today. Perea in 4th chasing, just isn't going to have the tire to chase Heathen down. He's relying on a mistake made by that driver at this point. Mr. Smurf, 2 seconds ahead of K. Ricard. I'm not sure if Ricardo is aware that he has the tire compound on this driver, and now really he should be trying to push this driver to catch him. Andres in 7th here. 27-second lead on Chip Reese. So some of these pit strategies are showing the time gap. So 1-stop, 2-stop strategy, kind of a split decision here, but our leader and our 2nd place driver both on that 1-stop strategy here today, and that strategy is going to put them both on the podium, but our 3rd place driver currently on a 2-stop strategy as well. So interesting to see what the next 4 divisions following the next 4 days are going to go through. Hallie coming around for the final time. We just got a few corners left here, so we're going to stick with our race leader here, who deserves the very long championship run to the finish line here for round 2, as he has put on an absolute picture-perfect race here today for himself. He's had fantastic pace. We have seen him make very little mistakes, and when he needed to be patient, he was. And ooh, that's the closest thing we've seen to a mistake out of that driver. Congratulations, Hallie, on the race win here for round 2 at Alsace Village. Flying Fox Racing coming in, bringing one home. RWB PD's going to come in for a P2 here as substitute driver today. So really good finish for this driver, coming in brand new to the series and putting on a clinic as well here with this Mercedes. And P2 here for this driver. Congratulations, RWB's PD. Apex Heathen sponsored driver coming around here right now. He's just coming up the uphill, and then we're going straight downhill into those chicanes. He has 9-second gap on Pradea in behind, and looks like he is going to bring home P3 here today for the team. So back-to-back podiums for Apex's Heathen this season to start. Great start to this man's season as he's coming around the final corner, going to come across that start-finish line, and he's pleased, swinging that car back and forth. P3 for Apex's Heathen, so congratulations to him. We got Perea, who's coming around. Well-fought battle from this driver again, coming around in 4th place. Mr. Smurf under fire by Ricard, and Ricard is not going to have enough racetrack here to get it done. 5th place for Mr. Smurf, very close 6th place finish for Ricard, and here comes Andres. Chip Reese finishing up just a little bit ahead of these guys here in 8th place, so great job to Chip as well. First race of the season for him. Good points to start the season for all these drivers with a small field here today. And Andres just coming around those final corners right now. And that is going to finish up his race for him today with a strong 7th place finish for the OBR team. And Motors here coming around right now. We're going to stick with him, give him that beautiful love to finish his race here today. Huge shout out to this man. Had that tough race coming in, I believe, as a substitute driver here today. And here he is, still at the end of the race, still putting in his time and really showing how to handle blue flag situations here today as well. So great job by this driver. He's going to come around here for our last time in 9th place. I mean, wow. Fantastic stuff by our amateur division here at Flat Out Racing North America, sponsored by GTR Simulators and Apex Racing Team. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm your host for the evening, GT45 Gaming, and a huge shout out to Hallie for the clean sweep, pole position, and a victory. Sorry, not the clean sweep. He did not get fastest lap, pole position and victory. So somebody else did steal that lap from him. Very interesting. I wasn't paying attention. All right, gentlemen, save your replays, please. So, with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, the next best thing happens. We get to go do podium interviews. So, we're going to flip you over to the other screen here, and we'll be right back for some podium interviews with our top 3 drivers.
Yeah, I'm here.
Somebody needs to shut their dogs up.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, so we are back. As you could hear, we were in the chat there with the guys, and we're going to jump into our podium finishers here. So we're going to start, obviously, with our 3rd place finisher, and that is last week's winner in Apex Heathen. So sponsored driver hitting the podium again for the 2nd round in a row. Apex Heathen coming in 3rd place. So let's talk to this driver. Interesting race strategy coming out of you here today. Now, was that your initial strategy coming into the race, or was that a strategy on the fly after the spin that we saw on track there?
That was definitely on the fly after the spin. My initial strategy was a one stop. I I felt I could pull it off, but after the spin, I knew the only way a podium was even on the cards was to just go ahead and do the two stop, and possibly I had a three stop in mind, but once I switched back onto the mediums on that last stint, I knew that I would be coming into the optimal grip when they were starting to fall off of theirs, so I just stuck with it.
And it was an interesting strategy. You were the only driver that I seen on the racetrack tonight that went on the mediums to start, went over to the soft tires, and then went back to the medium tire. So, I mean, what can we say? Proving to be a worthy strategy. Obviously, placing here on the podium again today. And I know talking to you a little bit earlier, of course, before the race was starting, you weren't feeling nowhere near as confident coming into round two here as you were last week in round one at Watkins. So when you know that you're not as confident coming to a racetrack, and you know that the racing is going to be hard, it's going to be tough, it's going to be competitive, what's your preparation for that coming into a race that you know isn't going to be your best racetrack?
Um, Mostly practicing with the other Apex guys, the higher division drivers, running on that higher tire wear and fuel usage setting kind of a benefit when it comes to the actual race, because obviously in our division where there's a little bit less wear, it kind of gives you better pace over a longer period. Maybe not as fast, but more consistent. And so far, I mean, that's two podiums in a row, so it gotta say something about it.
Well, absolutely, and I mean, great start to the season for you. So two podium finishes in round one with the win and a pole position. Yeah, it was pole position, and of course coming in with a P3 finish here in round two. Shout outs, anybody you want to thank, and all that great stuff.
I want to thank Apex, my boys, uh, GTR Simulators, you, GT45 Gaming, FOR for having us, and say hey to Rachel and Elena. And that'd be it, brother.
Hey, and next week, I mean, you're preparing for next week's race, much of the same attitude. Just go and get your practice in, and have that strategy. And I mean, at the end of the day, of course, strategies only work so well. Sometimes racing situations change, which is the case for you today. But a quick thinking on your feet, getting you to P3, preparing for next week, much of the same mentality.
Pretty much all the races from here on out, are other than Tokyo, are pretty pretty good tracks for me. So basically, it'll be put in a stint a night. I'll do one night on soft. Next night I'll do mediums. Next night I might mix it up some. Just go from there and hope for the best, man. I'll tell you what, Hallie was on it tonight. He was quick. So was Petey, and it's good to see Petey back in here in another league, and Chip Reese as well. I've raced with both of those guys before, and respect all of them.
Hey, cheers. Great racing tonight from everybody in the field. All right, so congratulations to Apex's Heathen. Great finish here for, of course, this one of the sponsors here today, sponsor driver from Apex Racing Team, coming out with another podium finish. So great start to the race weekend for the Apex team here again this week. Moving on to our second place finisher. Again, new driver coming into the Discord just over the week here. Did some qualifying here most recently. Got himself in as a substitute driver for our amateur guys. Gets called in tonight. And bam, second place finish from this driver. So, I mean, what could you say? Hey, a little bit maybe underprepared for it, but you came in, and I mean, obviously you're comfortable with the car. So let's start with that. How do you feel behind the wheel of the Mercedes?
With the Mercedes, oh man, when I actually haven't played Gran Turismo since Forza Motorsport 2 was out. So coming to GT7 is different. The Mercedes was actually one of the first cars that I bought on this game, the Mercedes and the Skyline. And it's just adjusting back to it. It was tough. I spun in a couple corners. Hallie was just flying, man. The first couple laps, I just made a couple small mistakes. just got to put in more practice. I think that's what it's going to come down to.
It is, and I mean, obviously, hard work pays off, and I believe that once we get to our leader here for his interview, I mean, this can definitely be one of the questions. I mean, it showed that guy put in some work this week to get ready for this race. He put the team and the pit crew absolutely on overtime, and it was flying. But I mean, you can't take that away from your race. Again, coming in as a substitute driver, very little practice, just familiarizing yourself with the series. You haven't been on track with these guys yet, with these drivers, so you have to get used to the drivers that you're racing against on the fly, and you handled it really well today. So, good strategy. One-stop strategy. Was that the plan coming into the race here today?
That was actually not the plan. The actual plan I had, because I've been sick all week, man. It's been rough this week with this weather. And once I got it qualified, I ran, I think, maybe 4 laps. I wanted to run at least 6 or 7, but I think I ran 4 of them. So I basically did some quick calculations in my head. I was like, oh man, fuel window, switching to 2 and 3, even 4 in a couple corners. And but Hallie was flying, man. Once I seen his pace, I was like, yeah, let me just put it on 2, try to stick in there. And then when Heathen came past, I was like, oh man, I didn't know if he had enough fuel to go, if he had fresh tires, what was going on. I wasn't sure I was going to catch him. Then he dipped into the pits. I was like, okay, he might be making a 2-stopper. So I figured I still had a good chance just to hold in the second place.
And I mean, when you see when you see that you're 20 some seconds behind the leader and you're 20 some seconds ahead of second place, I mean, at that point, as a racer and any racer, it just comes down to not making a mistake at that point. Hit your marks, take care of your car, and just monitor that gap. So it was an exciting start of the race for you. You made a beautiful move right at the start there to jump into the lead.
Man.
But nice, tight, clean racing from you guys. I think that
Come.
we had some blue flag cars. We had some cars that were a little bit off the beaten path here today. I think they handled everything pretty
For the
well.
most part, they did. They did very well. I really appreciate it from you guys too, man. I
And
know it's hard.
you know, it's one of those things. Again, it's still being looked at, I think, by the league, blue flags on how to perfect how we're supposed to handle that. But I think the amateurs here tonight showed a pretty good way to handle blue flag situations. I think by the drivers sticking to the racing line, it made them very predictable, and I've seen some absolutely great decisive moves from the drivers. But we will weigh on that with the leader here as well, because we've seen him battling pretty good there with 8th place drivers near the end of the race there. So we'll definitely weigh in on his what he thinks about that as well. But great racing nonetheless, and man, coming in as a sub is just showing some very good pace very early on. So I think that these drivers need to look out for RWB's PD if he gets in full time, because he's going to make a run. Shout out to my guy. Who would you like to thank? Anybody, of course, before we move on to
Oh
our
man, I'd
winner?
like to thank GTR Simulator, Apex. Oh man, GT45 High Pre. I want to thank all you guys tonight. It's actually my birthday. I appreciate the great race, man. Thank you guys a lot, yo.
Well, we
Happy
didn't know
birthday,
that
man.
before
I
race time.
appreciate
So happy
that,
birthday to
man.
this man, RWB
I
PD, with a
appreciate
second
it.
place finish. So right on, dude. I hope that puts a smile on your face for the night.
Yeah, it did, man. I appreciate you
Cheers.
guys, man.
Absolutely. And again, when you're preparing for next week, obviously you're gonna have know that you're in here potentially on last minute call-in. So you put in a regular practice regimen for this, or do you just kind of put in a few laps just to get that feel again?
Oh, I'm gonna put in a regular practice next week coming up. I'm feeling a lot better than I have been this week. So tomorrow, definitely tomorrow morning, I'm gonna be getting laps in.
Absolutely. And I mean, great job again to you, and congratulations on a great start to your season here as well for your first race. All right, ladies and
Thank
gentlemen.
you
So
guys.
some great words here by our top three always here at Flat Out Racing North America. These gentlemen are very well spoken. They always have great answers. So with that being said, let's go talk to the man who just proved to be extremely tough to beat. I mean, unbeatable here today, Mr. S. Halley. Now, we were saying his name wrong on the broadcast all day because I thought I seen an I. It's Halley, not Haley. My apologies. So I'm going to apologize first and foremost before you even watch the stream. I do apologize. Great race from you today. I mean, clearly you put in some work, testing and tuning all week long in preparation for the French racetrack here. Do you want to talk a little bit about what your practice regimen is to get ready for a race like this?
Honestly, my practice was just get on track, run sims, and try and figure out the right way to get the perfect strat.
Now, of course, a member of the Flying Fox Racing Team. We have obviously members of that Flying Fox Racing Team all over the divisions here in the series. Working together with guys that are in a higher division, does that help when you are preparing for these races in these lower divisions?
Well, personally, I haven't worked with the guys from higher divisions in FOR, but I've worked with my academy team, 83, A83T, and my coach been helping me a lot, like understanding the car, how it turns, how it works, and especially having the pedal to the metal all the time at the right moments is key.
Well, I mean, we saw basically what I would call a picture-perfect race from you here tonight. We didn't see any mistakes really from a minor input issue where the car might have wiggled slightly for you. We seen you have some pretty good blue flag battling, and let's weigh in on that a little bit. Now, blue flags, of course, is always a difficult situation in league racing. We do have, of course, the flags turned off in the series due to just game bugs and glitches that happen with the yellow flag part of the flags. So first of all, I did notice that it looked like the cars that were being put a lap down were obviously aware that you were approaching them. How do you think they handled that tonight?
Personally, I handled great. The only issue I had was the missed braking point I had on lap 22. But that's it's part of the game. It's part of racing. Um, Other than that, like, he put up a great battle to try to stay a lap ahead, and I couldn't ask for more for him.
No, absolutely. And I mean, all the drivers on track, you guys just displaying week in and week out. Like, way to start off every round coming for Flat Out Racing is to come in here. We're starting with the AM guys. Now, typically, people hear amateur division are like, oh, these guys, they're learning, they're slow, they're going to crash into each other. We don't see that from you guys. We see some mistakes from some of the drivers, but it's never it's always a self-induced incident. Even the best of the drivers make those mistakes on track. You catch a little track edge, and the car becomes very slippery, and hang on, you're going for a ride. But other than that, we're just seeing a display of racing from this amateur division this season. But today, I mean, it was you running very solid 151 lap times on those soft tires. I know that is top end pro and mid pack pro division pace. So preparing for the next race, just stick with your practice regimen.
Pretty much. But last season I had the GTR, couldn't get a handle of it, and this season I got the Merc, and handling like a champ for me. So keeping the same regiment, probably. Can't change the winning ways. It's how it works.
Absolutely, and I mean, I really wish we had more to talk about your race, but it was a pretty uneventful race for you for the most part. I think the most excitement was right at the race start there, where you had lost a couple positions, but you just showed patience on the racetrack, knowing that you had good pace today, and eventually it came out. At what point in the race did you realize that you probably had this one, as long as you just kept doing what you were doing?
Honestly, after a pit stop, all I was scared was the pit stop. I knew the two stop could have been a killer if one of the guys, if the top two guys behind me would have got the overcut. But luckily I was good. I kept my cool, and I carried that on to bring the victory.
Well, and I mean, hey, a race win in any round of any season is always a plus for the standings. So coming home with obviously pole position from qualifying, so the bonus point plus the win with 25 points, so 26-point night for you. Definitely going to set you pretty good coming into the standings for round 3. Championship battle on between Apex's Heathen and Halley right now, ladies and gentlemen. Boy, these two are showing to be two of the drivers definitely to beat on the racetrack. But I mean, just beautiful race from you today, my man, and you should be very proud. It was, like I said, a picture-perfect race for the most part. We missed one mistake apparently that you mentioned, but other than that, you can't ask for much more out of a race car and a racing team behind the scenes that put so many hours in to keep these cars running on the racetracks for these drivers. Shout outs and thank yous.
Honestly, I want to shout out my team, my mentor, especially Art, my coach, Thunder Runner, Remy for helping me a lot on day in and day out, and also Trevor for hosting the academy and making me the man I am today.
All right, and cheers. And I mean, hey, congratulations, big win this weekend, and look forward to seeing what you got for us here and next Saturday night at Flat Out Racing. Congratulations to all the drivers. Great job out there, guys, and feel free to speak freely. All right, ladies and gentlemen, so there we have it, our amateur division podium finishers. Great words by all our drivers here. Halley just proving to be completely undefeatable here tonight. As you said, he worked very hard. He's been working with his team, his academy trainer, and is paying off. The amateur division here really does have their work cut out for them, as they progress through this season. Hallie is a driver who is championship worthy, showing that very early on the season. Not to take away from our second and third place drivers here, RWPD showing some very good pace in this racetrack very early on this season, coming in brand new, not really knowing everything that's happening here yet, showing strong with a P2 finish. And Apex is Heathen, winner of last round, coming in with another podium finish, proving he's worthy of a championship fight this year here as well. I would like to thank everybody coming in here, showing all the amazing support. Thank you so much for hanging out with us here at Flat Out Racing North America tonight. You're absolute all amazing. You're legends. Facebook, YouTube, thank you so much. Presented again by Flat Out Racing North America, sponsored by GTR Simulators and Apex Racing. High Pre Graphics is behind the graphics we see here on stream, even this amazing podium interview screen that he set up for us here today. And I am your host, GT45 Gaming. Thank you so much, everybody. I hope you've had fun tonight. I've had fun tonight. Our AM guys keep setting the precedent week in and week out for Flat Out Racing North America. Tomorrow night is a new night. We are going to see what our elite division has in store for us. Much of the same like last week, we're going to see some beautiful World Tour style qualifying here on the racetrack, the one hot lap shootout from these drivers, and then a 25 lap showdown to see which elite driver has what it takes to conquer France's Alsace village. Thank you very much for tuning in. Hope everybody had a fantastic time. And most importantly, ladies and gentlemen, stay winning, because you're all legends.